we have our final speaker of the day. And I want you to welcome the lovely Lema Daley to the stage. Now, Lema has done the Live, Love, Laugh Lives with us. I don't want to steal her thunder because I know that she's got lots to talk about here. But yeah, I love Lema because it's kind of another initiator. You know, there's only 8% of the world. We've got quite a few initiators in our group. But again, once you realise that she's here to inform, not to ask for permission, just going for it. So let me just stop sharing here. Let me find Lema. Where are you, my lovely?
Hi.
There she is. So
Hello.
I am going to just spotlight you. And I'm going to hand over to you as our final speaker before we go to our final award and then the raffle. Over to you, my lovely Lema.
Right. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I can't believe how quickly the time's gone. It's just been really fabulous to connect here in this way. So yeah, thank you again for just everybody's participation. And I feel although a lot of us have not met each other, we are like a real community in this space. So in terms of my journey to the world of wise women, I suppose, as you say, Cheryl, I am an initiator, and I didn't know that last year. And I'm thinking about all the things that we didn't know last year this time. And for me, that was, it's just been such an eye-opener. I wanted to speak about achieving your heart's desire because it just feels like it's been part of my journey, in that had been doing a lot of things. I qualified as a social worker. Before that, I was doing psychotherapy training. And before that, I did massage therapy. And each one of those, for me, it felt as though something was missing. And I was having a conversation with somebody recently about, you know, my experience. And in the sense I felt I was always trying to fill in the gaps. Something wasn't quite right. I was kind of like wanting to, like the therapy didn't have enough a social message in it. It wasn't looking at diversity issues. It was kind of a bit, you know, very nice. And although it's great, the therapy is great, I'm not knocking it because like it's really served me well in time. But then when I went in to do the social work training, I felt that didn't have, you know, enough of a therapeutic element to it. So I was always kind of like building and making something more out of what I had. And in a sense, it's a bit of a dissatisfaction. And sometimes I felt like I can't really do this. It's just not right for me. So I started to get into a frame of like, if the world was my oyster, what would I be doing? And a few years ago, I developed the Achieving Your Heart's Desire process. So I thought I've got to do something with what I know and what my skills are. So I spoke to a few friends, one or two might be on this call now, so it's really great that you've been able to join. And I said, I'm thinking about this idea and I need some help with it. And that was quite a big breakthrough for me, because oftentimes I don't ask for help, because like many of us here, you know, like hands up, who thinks that, well, I can't ask for anyone's help because I'm the person that everyone goes to. But like sometimes, yes, can I get a witness? Can I get a whoop whoop? And that is the truth. And it's like, but it's okay to ask for help. And that's something that I've been learning and telling myself, because I'd say that to other people without any, you know, hesitation. But sometimes it's really hard to say those things to ourselves because we just don't. Sometimes we have that be strong element, and what if people saw that some days I just felt like I couldn't, you know, be bothered to sort of get myself out of bed and do anything constructive because you're just too exhausted emotionally or physically. So in the Achieving Your Heart's Desire, I got to share something with people who have been friends for a long time and get the feedback as well, because they are truthful, we are connected. It's like the Wise Women, we're here to support each other and live our best lives. So in this whole process, I was thinking about, well, yeah, what else would I be doing if, you know, the sky was no limit? And in terms of heart's desire, my heart's desire was, I guess, to combine therapeutic work, social activism, community work, social work, with something that had a different heart and a different focus in it, so that people could feel more valued and connected. And I think that was the thing that I've gotten most from this group. But so last year when I went to the WHYsWomen, I went for one day, I think. And when I got the information about being an initiator, it was just like everything fell into place. I was like, oh, wow. Literally, I was like, it's so exciting. I'm going to like start it. And then I got my blueprint print out and had a session with Cheryl, and it all made sense. And I feel like compared to last year, comparing myself now to last year, it's like, I do feel so different in the sense of it was like a permission giver. I do transactional analysis therapy as well. And it's like permissions is a big thing. It's about all the things that the stoppers. I know other people have spoken about the things that get in the way, the imposter syndrome, but it's like we are fabulous and amazing, and like we can know that, and it's about that knowing and giving ourselves the permission to be all that we are. So that was part of my heart's desire goals, really. So in that process, when I did the small group with a select band, it was a really good confidence booster for me, but it also made me see that I can create something, I can support people in a way that I do. It doesn't have to be about fitting into a certain box, or and I feel that sometimes I do struggle with that, but I'm an initiator, of course I'm going to struggle with that to some extent. But I think what's been great about being here is that you can be your own you, and I think for me it was about developing that whole, the what ifs, what if I could reach for the stars, and it's like, so for me a lot of it is about, especially in it's across the board, but in social care I work with children and families a lot, and there's often a lot of adversity, and some of that is about how people think and how they've been told about who they are. And so that's no different for anyone, regardless of what arena you're in, because even people who seem to be like really successful and have it all together, hands up, who's ever like doubted, who's ever doubted, even though people see you in a particular way, it's like, it isn't always like this, but it's good because we can acknowledge it and we get the support to move through that. But again, I did some one-to-one work with Marion as well, and that has brought about another understanding, because as I say, I've done therapy in the past, that it was like another revolution. It was at a different level. So putting all of that together was just quite amazing, and I feel really excited about what the options are. And I think it's like really changed me and how I show up in the world, is the like little catchphrase, but it really does. And I hear myself differently. I'm like, I feel like I can pretty much do most things. Although there are some things that I think, dare I let go of one situation if I'm really not sure about the next step? But sometimes that is absolutely what you have to do. That's like without a doubt. It's kind of last year in terms, I can't believe it again about time. Time is like just the weirdest thing, because it's a year since the first lockdown. And I mean, before, I don't know, maybe April of last year, I'd never even heard of Zoom. Heard of it. I don't know about anyone else. Had anyone else heard of Zoom? Maybe one or two. But we've had time to actually, get our time to ourselves in a different way. Obviously, it's had its ups and downs. There's been a lot of challenges, but the time that we've had has been something that we've really had to deal with. And I think it is quite important that for International Women's Day, we had to become the mothers of invention through necessity, and really connect with our feminine energy, and, you know, balance all the different things that's going on in the world. And it's not been without its personal challenges either. But I think for me, it's been a time to really reflect, and use the obstacles and challenges as stepping stones, really, rather than feeling that they're blocks that's going to get in the way. That is, for me, and hearing as some of the other speakers, where there'd been that uncertainty, it's actually more has come from this time, probably because we had that time. I mean, I love being in the office and, you know, having that banter and meeting up after work and those kind of things. But I haven't at all missed sitting in traffic and, you know, losing, I don't know, 10 hours a week on the road. And so that's good. So I know the theme for International Women's Day is I choose to challenge, but I do choose to challenge limitations. I think that's one of my main things. And I celebrate just the opportunities that there are, because during this year, it's been hard not to be able to see and spend time with the people we love and care about. But I celebrate the fact that I've got people that I love and care about, and I'm celebrating what it's going to feel like when we get all those times that we're going to have back together, and how we can like share those, you know, those so fabulous hugs and just time together. And I celebrate having the opportunity to get still. Because I'm quite a busy person, and I realised how much I was packing in, but now I get to, if I want to, just like have a weekend, and I'm putting myself in that space to actually sometimes do very little, because we're giving out energy and, you know, doing a lot of it's almost like that recalibration, and that takes energy, it takes focus. And so if you're sitting and putting your feet up, doing very little, you're actually doing quite a lot, because your body and your system actually needs that to be able to go do the next thing. So I celebrate enjoying my home and spending time there, and I've not been able to do that for years. And it's like silly that, you know, you pay for to be somewhere, you buy your furniture, and yet still you're spending very little waking time there, because you're busy doing all sorts of things, going places. And so in a way, home can become that sanctuary space. Home can become the spa space. You can be choosing what you have around you, and enjoying it. And it's not, although it's an imposed thing in certain ways, it's like we can choose. I choose how it is that I make use of that space, and just love and enjoy it and nurture it and fill it with love. And so I just do celebrate that, and it's been a marvellous opportunity. I mean, to connect today in the way that we have, and I celebrate, you know, the creativity through developing skills. Like this year, something that I've done is started to bake bread, and after the banana bread, you know, I got fed up of that, and my waistline wasn't appreciating it. So I started to bake traditional like Caribbean bakes, and I've really been enjoying that, experimenting with that, like getting my bulk orders, and people have done orders, you know, because they knew that I was doing it, and that's been really good fun. It's helped to structure my time as well, because we've just had to just make all sorts of adjustments, but again, obstacles to stepping stones, so that you can you know, think about what your heart's desire is as well, and feel and connect with ourselves. Because when you're busy moving around and going from one thing to another, sometimes we're at the bottom of our agenda. So it's been really good to take the time to reconnect. And you know, perhaps for me, the biggest shift in thinking is really doing that introspection, because I've had time like we've never really had before. And so I think that, again, another factor in being part of this forum is I'm celebrating really saying yes to saying yes. Because last year, this time, there's absolutely no way I would have done this. People think that I'm confident and chatty and everything, but I would not have, I don't think I'd have done it. And I'm on a public speakers training course, but I still wouldn't have done it. I remember one time, I think it was about a year ago, we did an exercise on the training, and then you had to like present to a small group, and I was literally like, I thought that something had like vacuumed all my thoughts out of my head, and that I wouldn't even know my own name. And I was literally, I just wanted to cry. I was like, I can't sing, I don't know what the exercise is, and I never heard. And then one of the trainers said, because I was looking at my notes fervently, and he was like, it's okay, you know this stuff. And I was like, but I don't, and you're going to make me do it, and I don't want to do it. I'm going to be like really rubbish. But I did hold it together, and I did remember what I needed to do, but I still felt a bit fragile. And so I decided to go into another group for the end of the session, and I'd chosen the area of the group that I was going to be in. I didn't know who the tutor was, but it turned out to be the wonderful Dr. Marion Bedington. And I think, Anita, you were in that group as well. And it was another turning point for me. So, and it just, I think it opened the floodgates of a lot of things that I'd been keeping inside. And that's okay. And I think it helped me then to make the further shift. And the shift that I've made is to saying yes and what could be better. I think really what I'd like to share, because I did a poem, it's a poem what I wrote, because through being in the WHYs Foundation, I did some one-to-one work, as I said, with Cheryl on the genetic blueprint. And then because I've done body work myself, I've really missed that factor. So I did a session with Marion, because she's brilliant energetically and has amazing skills. So it's called When My Heart's Broke. I thought I was lost, thought this is the end. But what I know now that I didn't know then is broken hearts can mend. And then from that, I had an affirmation that my heart is whole and a centre of wholeness. My love grows and expands, and I am connected. I am whole. So just keep being fabulous is what I'd say. And that's what I say to myself. I'd say to everybody. I got into being the energy of the moon, because it's the feminine energy, and it's something that I've been aware of in the background, but until I had this time to really sometimes just sit and look out the window and be with myself, I didn't know what this would mean. So now I do readings with people on goal setting. So I'm combining my therapeutic work, my body work, my interests, my why, and I'm here to initiate, as an initiator, to inform and inspire. And I feel like this is what it's all about. And I'm so excited, so pleased, and so just really, really happy to be here. And even today, I was like, I don't still know what I'm going to talk about. I had a few ideas, but I just allowed myself to connect with what's been going on, and to just say whatever is needed. And I hope, thank you for all for listening. Keep doing what you do. I think my saying yes to yes this year and through the WHYs Foundation has brought me my first BBC radio interview. Obviously we had the talks, and being on YouTube and like all that. And I think that then brought somebody saying, oh, that was really interesting. And then they contacted me. I had the radio interview, and different things have been happening, but it's about that confidence and the keep, saying yes to yes, and enjoy the phenomenal change, and know that here we've got this space to connect, and that we individually are making connections with other people simply because we can choose to challenge limitation and say yes to yes. And that's me. Thank you so much. And so excited. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. I'm glad I did. Yeah, I'm just glad to be here. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Lema. I think Lema's really anyway, a really good example of the fact that you don't have to have booming energy. Does that make sense? It's almost like I'm trying to think of an analogy, but it all sounds a bit warlike, and I don't mean it to be like that. It's like you're just so solid, but your voice, oh my gosh, it's like, I feel like I'm listening to